Pee-wee, wouldn't it be fun if KISS were like immortal? Like a video game that would just live forever? Just joking, everyone. Welcome, fellow KISS fans. Welcome to It's All For You Demons, celebrating the fun of being a KISS fan, and the fun is what we are going to celebrate tonight because I am back from New York City for the final two KISS shows, December 1st and 2nd at Madison Square Garden. There was the KISS Takeover of New York City that week. We had some KISS locations left over from 2019 that we never found, and we had some new KISS locations to find. It was a fantastic way to kick off December. Wonderful intro to the Christmas holiday. This is KISS New York City 2023. When we went to see KISS play at the Garden in 2019 for the End of the Road, we had a list of KISS locations that we wanted to find. One that we did not make it to was the Elder Door, or the inspiration for the Elder Door. In Julian Gill's book, The Odyssey, there is an interview with Dennis Wollock where he describes brainstorming the Elder cover. And once it was decided that the cover would be a door, he was quoted as saying, "This is a good chance to roam the city and look at church doors." And one of the doors that struck him was the Park Avenue United Methodist Church at 106 East 86th Street. Now, the Spiked Fountain was a location that we could have found in 2019, but it was under construction. We could see it, but we couldn't get to it. And it was under construction, and obviously, as found in 2023, the Spiked Fountain no longer exists. So we're trying to figure out the Spiked Ball Fountain, and it's been removed. But we're seeing these two flagpoles in the picture.
They're all four to the right of the first flagpole, and the second flagpole is way off to the left. So the only place they could be to the right of that flagpole is right here.
So obviously they've replaced the Spiked Fountain with this Christmas tree and these steps.
I bet the photographer stood here and they stood up there.
Yep. There's the flagpoles. There's the building. Rest in peace, Spiked Fountain. We tried to see you in 2019, but you were under construction, obviously being demolished.
Probably was being taken down right then.
There you go. At least those flagpoles are still there. That's pretty cool. Right after we found the Spiked Fountain location, there was a gentleman standing on the corner holding his phone, and after talking to him, he had mentioned that he saw our 2019 video and all the locations we found, and he was out location hunting just like we were, and his name was Bobby from Bulgaria, and he gave me this KISS Army Bulgaria sticker, and I just thought it was very cool how KISS fans from across the world can have the same drive and passion and want to go out alone at night looking for KISS locations. You know, the rest of the world's going on people are going about their business, but we have a mission to find these silly locations that KISS once stood. And that just warmed my heart. And I will forever cherish this sticker because that was just a very cool moment between two KISS fans from across the world who don't know each other and can talk KISS and have fun in the middle of a gigantic city. That is the magic of being a KISS fan. And I will forever cherish this sticker. Studio 54 was a location we found on our 2019 trip, and we talked about the Eye video being filmed there. But Danny realized after we got home that he wasn't standing on the right fire hydrant that Steve Rubell stood on when he would man the doors of Studio 54 and tell the ugly people to go home and the good-looking people to come in. So this was a completist mission for Dan to find the fire hydrant, the actual fire hydrant that Steve Rubell stood on at Studio 54. And so he would have stood right here, right?
Oh yeah, all the time, so he could see who was pretty and who wasn't.
And then behind him in this photo is the parking garage. And Chuck noticed that the parking sign is still here, just the ING's gone.
Pre-Diana Ross, Sylvester Sloan, they all stood right here. Oh, you go ahead and cut me. Mick Jagger and Keith Richards got to go in next night, like two other ones. She wrote the song Freak Out that we all know and love. It was originally called Fuck Off. That was because Steve Rubell would not let them in. So they went home pissed off and wrote that song called Fuck Off. And then, yeah, rest is history.
All because of this fire hydrant. Of all the days we had with the New York City takeover, the pizza day by far was my favorite. I'm a big fan of what I like to call KISS days, where you have a day devoted to KISS. Everyone meets in the morning and you have a mission to go on something fun, something KISS. You don't get any more fun in the world than pizza and KISS. Throw in a KISS pizza box, I'm sold 100%. This was one of the greatest days ever. The pop-up store was a wake-up call to how big this event was. This is a mob, including KISS fans and resellers, unfortunately. But this pop-up store was absolutely amazing. One of the greatest KISS adventures I've ever been on. Such a cool experience, full of cool people, cool music, cool vibe. 5 stars on the pop-up store. Another real blessing in disguise from the Odyssey book was Dennis Wollock talking about the Elder time period and how the machine of KISS was kind of dying, and that Bill Aucoin actually had to share an office space with Howard Marks, and he said that office was at 655 Madison Avenue, and it would have been where Bill Aucoin, the machine was dying, cut pennies where you can, and so all of that Elder creativity would have taken place in this building, possibly even the firing of Bill Aucoin in this office. This was a pretty cool find. When I bought Julian Gill's Mass Hysteria book, the very first thing that caught my eye and I just fell in love with was the photo session from 75 Franklin Street. And this would have been the very first act of work for Unmasked. And it was Gene and Paul, Warren Abbott Studios, to shoot ads for their instruments, the Axe Bass and the Iceman. They did it in full makeup, and there are photos of Gene and Paul coming out of the studio, and across the street is a mom and her son that Gene talked to, and also another little kid that Paul talks to, and they are the coolest photos of a snapshot in time. Gene and Paul in those dynasty outfits, larger than life. It's just an amazing photograph, and the minute I saw those and the minute I knew that address, I was like, we have to recreate these photos. And one night while we're all laying in bed, Danny had a great idea. He said, hey, the Bleecker Street loft is right around here where KISS played with the Brats. And this was a super fun find because these are the kind of location hunting that you don't plan. It just kind of unfolds and it's perfect. Now, the Dress to Kill corner we had done in 2019, and it kind of sucks now because there's scaffolding there for repairs, and you kind of have to be creative how you take your photos, and especially if you're trying to actually recreate the album cover. But we did that in 2019, and for me, the Dress to Kill corner and the loft were huge places I wanted to go just to kind of pay my respects to Large Marge. When she died in June, I thought, you know, at the end of this year, I'm gonna pay tribute to the greatest dog I've ever known in my entire life. And it was cool to have these buttons at those locations, leave them there. I don't care if anyone picks them up or they throw them away, but I know that a bit of Large Marge is at these spots, and that means the world to me. The Superhero Cream photos were especially cool because those are historic Cream magazine photos. I've never owned that issue, but everyone talks about those issues because they are tied to the Dress to Kill album cover. And this one took work. We had to run around everywhere until Todd finally found the exact corner by looking at the stairs, the slanted wall, and where we thought a phone booth would be. And luckily we were able to match up the door on the slanted wall, the door behind the band, and then gate that's in the photo, we were able to match up on the actual concrete where that gate would have been. And that is the magic of location hunting. When you can match up where something was prior to renovations and recreate a photo from the past, that's magic. What made night 2 amazing was I was there with my friends Chuck, Todd, and Danny. That is amazing. The week we had prior to the show, the friendship we've had all along, and to see KISS at their final night at the Garden. It is so much fun to say KISS at the Garden, and to see now 3 shows at the Garden is pretty freaking amazing. Most of all, Dan. The first time we ever started hanging out was probably 37 years ago. 35 years ago, he introduced me to KISS. So that's 37 years of friendship and 35 years of KISStory. And to see our final show together, to have that man next to me, the same man I had next to me at Hot in the Shade, was enough sentiment for me. That's all I needed. Gene and Paul didn't have to get sentimental. I got sentimental with Dan. We bought a beer, we cheered, we watched our favorite band of all time, a band that has changed our lives, end their career as touring artists. And that was one of the greatest nights ever.